Hey guys, this is Jordan with Hardy House Games, here to explain to you how to win one of my all-time favorite card games, Hearts. Keep in mind, this is a how to win video, not how to play. If you want to find out how to play, I'm sure there's tons of other videos on YouTube you could go to. And in this video specifically, I'm going to go over ways to prevent getting points. I'm not even going to talk about shooting the moon. I think that's a huge topic that should be covered in a totally different video. At the beginning of each hand in Hearts, you get to get rid of 3 cards, and I'll give you some tips on which ones you should get rid of. The most common and obvious thing to do is get rid of all your high cards, but I want to give you a little bit of warning on that. Don't get rid of your highest cards. You usually want to hold on to your highest card just to stop somebody from shooting the moon, just in case you need it. A really good example of this is the Ace of Hearts. Generally, you never should pass the Ace of Hearts. Hold on to that one, pass your King, pass your Queen, pass whatever other hearts. Just hold on to that highest one, because you never know if somebody's going to be using those high hearts to try to shoot the moon, and if you've got that Ace of Hearts, you'll be able to stop them. Another common question is whether or not you should pass the Queen of Spades. For me, a rule of thumb is as long as you have 4 spades, it's worth holding on to the Queen. Chances are nobody's going to force you to play that because you've got enough other spades to act as a cushion. If you've only got 3 spades though, it might be worth getting rid of the Queen of Spades. As long as those other spades aren't the Ace and King. Don't pass the Queen of Spades if all you're left with are spades that are higher than the Queen of Spades. Something I really like to do when passing cards is bleeding myself out of a suit. If, for example, I've only got 3 diamonds, I really like passing 3 diamonds, so that way throughout the game, if somebody leads diamonds, I can slough on it. Sloughing is one of your best friends in Hearts. When you slough, you don't take points. Okay, now that we've talked about what cards you should pass, let's talk about what cards you should play. It's always a good idea to play high cards if there are no points on the table. But a word of caution, don't get rid of all of your highest cards. Play your second highest card until hearts are split. If hearts aren't split, somebody might be trying to shoot the moon, and when you get rid of that Ace of Clubs on no points, you might regret that because you need it later when somebody's shooting the moon with clubs. So that's why I always play my second highest card, because then when I take control to stop somebody from shooting the moon, I'm not stuck with a bunch of other high cards. So think of this, for example. Clubs gets played, I play the King of Clubs, holding on to my Ace. It gets played again, maybe I play my Jack of Clubs, holding on to that Ace. Then if Clubs gets played a 3rd time and a heart comes out and somebody's wanting to shoot the moon to take that, I've got that Ace of Clubs to just snag that heart, but I already got rid of the rest of my high clubs, so I'm able to lead with either a low club or an entirely different suit. Now I've got some tips on which cards you should lead with when you take control. It's generally a good idea at the beginning of the game to play high cards because it's less likely somebody's going to be out of a suit. I frequently see people lead with high diamonds towards the beginning of the game because it's likely everybody has diamonds and nobody's going to slough points on them. And remember, if you suspect somebody's trying to shoot the moon, it's always good to hold on to your highest in a suit while getting rid of the second highest all the way down. Now towards the end of the game, there are things that I like to call dangerous suits. These are suits where they have been played a lot. Maybe Clubs has come out 2 or 3 times, and if you think of it this way, if Clubs has been played 3 times and everybody had it, that's 12 clubs played. You have the last club, so don't play it. So don't lead in a suit that has frequently been played if you don't want to take points. And of course, you'll see this all the time. It's always good to lead with a low spade if you don't have the Queen of Spades in your hand. By doing this, sometimes you can tease that Queen of Spades out and force somebody to play it on themselves. It always drives me nuts when I've got the Queen of Spades, not too many spades, and people keep leading with spades. So naturally, when you lead and don't have the Queen, play those spades. The last little tip I want to give you is to watch out for those last few tricks. It's particularly dangerous to take a trick when there's only 3 cards left, because when you're in control, it's very likely the cards you lead with are suits that nobody else has. And naturally, you're just going to take a bunch of points at the end. I cannot count how many times I've seen that happen, where somebody takes the last 3 tricks and they get like 15 points. So there you have it. Those are a few basic tips to just take the least amount of points in Hearts. Like I said, there's a whole slew of strategies around shooting the moon, so I'm going to include those in a different video. In the meantime, I hope you find value in these tips that I give you. If you have any tips that I didn't mention that help you win Hearts, I'd love to hear them in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you can learn more strategies on winning so everybody can hate you.